That's right, part 4 of the K-swap. Yay! So you remember we've already got 3 parts of me working on a K24 A2 motor that's going into my 92 Honda Civic hatchback that I can't wait to get going. Okay, well, we've torn a lot of it down, but now we're gonna pull the cylinder head. So you know what? Let's just get going. Now you remember before we wrapped it up so it would keep all the fluids in case it leaked. And it's always a good idea to do it because you never know if there's going to be moisture or how long it's end up going to be sitting, which we are also no strangers with. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to throw this away and we're going to get going. Okay, since I had put it all back together for safekeeping, I'm going to have to do some of the things I did in parts 1 through 3. So I'm not going to explain what I'm doing right here. Obviously, I'm pulling off the valve cover again. So how's your guys' year been going so far? For me, I just keep thinking about racing, and that's literally the thing that's keeping me going right now. So that's kind of in my head, but I've been joining a lot more, I've been looking into like grid life and time attack and all that kind of stuff. And I know for now, I still need a whole lot of practice before I actually enter into some of those. But I look forward to getting a lot more track events this season. And I actually texted my buddy, one of my buddies, last night about doing autocrossing with him because he's a big fan of the autocross at Sonoma Raceway. And so this year I'm going to be looking to join him. And I think it's like once a month. I'll let you guys know how it goes. And then maybe some of you can join me there too. I think this is actually still pretty stuck. So I think what I'm gonna do is grab my pry bar and see if I can, yeah, because, oh, well, I guess my hand is my pry bar. Okay guys, moving on. Okay, so now since we're doing, I don't want to say it's a sloppy job pulling out the cylinder, but it's not the most fun job. And so this is where having a manual will do you a world of good. Now, since this came out of a TSX, this is what I'm going to be using. I bought the manual. If you can find one for cheap, do it. If you can find one for expensive, do it. It'll help you in the long run. The RSX is kind of a close match, but if you're working on something like this, I say just get the proper manual. Okay. Okay, so before we pull this off, there are a couple things that you should know. So top dead center, or TDC, that's exactly what you want this to be in position. You see that arrow right there with that white notch? That's perfect. And then here above, you also want both of these to be basically looking at each other as far as the notches. Since we're pulling the whole thing apart, it isn't like critical that I do this, but at the same time, if you're going to be reusing this, it's a good method to, get into the habit of doing. And if you do have to adjust this, I would totally recommend this tool. So if you need a tool, you have a Honda shop, or you work on a lot of Hondas, the crank pulley tool is what you're gonna need. It's very, well, I wouldn't say very inexpensive, but the amount of time you're gonna spend with it, it's worth it. And so this is basically how you go in and you'd adjust and everything. But considering my TDCs look just fine, I don't have to do a thing. You guys have already seen me pull this one, so again, I'm not gonna go ahead and describe it. probably not a good idea for you to stand right there. There we go. And remember the key. Beautiful. Let's move on. Okay guys, now we're going to yank out the VTC solenoid. Once I take off the nut here, it is imperative that you do not pull it out by the black plastic. Yeah, we would know how that would go. And this is also 10 millimeter. Okay, beautiful. So that's done. Now this may be a little bit tight. So I may need another, yeah, I'm gonna need another tool. It's, you know, it's the first inclination to go for something that's sticking out to give you a little bit more leverage. But yeah, no, I'm gonna need like a little something else for this. Okay, so I did a little bit of twisting, a lot of twisting. This is actually an hour later. No, I'm kidding. But I was able to pull it out. Looks good. Let's move on. Okay guys, it's time to yank the timing chain cover. So that's this whole front panel right here. There are 16 bolts altogether, but one of us is the Big Daddy at 14. So I'm going to start with that guy right here. That was a nice sound. So that's how big that bolt is. And now let's go for the 10s. And even though it should be okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the same kind of crisscross pattern I usually do. It's a good habit to be in. There we go. And as you could hear that first, like I'm not going to come off. It's just, this has been on since the motor was built, like at the factory. And so they're going to give, well, they're not going to give, let's put it that way. And so you may want to try to break some of these if it seems like even the power tool isn't helping. So I'm going to give you that. Hands are getting full. Small hands, I tell you, small hands. Okay, so I think I've got, almost all the ones from the front. There's that, these, and I know there's 3 on the bottom. I just want to make sure. Oh. Sometimes they're so dirty you miss them. Okay. We're not taking this off. So, okay, I'm going to tackle the 3 on the bottom. And Polly hates this tool. And, oh, looks like, oh wait, no, it's there. It was so, like, impossible to see. It looked like it wasn't there. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and yank it off. Okay, so since these are glued on with Honda Bond, you may have to do a little tap and shake to get it off. Now, I already broke these loose and I'm gonna take it off in a second, but I wanna show you the points where it's safe to do so. So in right here, you can either try to pry or give it a little love tap. And down, right here, where you can see it's already dirty, you can pry a little. And then again on the other side, right here, you can kind of tap a little. And then there's a nice little space where you can go ahead and do the same. So like I said, I already did most of this with the hammer, so I'm gonna come back here. Yeah, look at that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this whole thing off. There we go. Hello, Honda Bond. Just a little bit of oil, totally expected this. And Polly, again, you're in the wrong position. Let's move on. Time to untension the TCT, and that's this guy right here. So this is super cool. You can see I just put the pulley back on. It's not attached to anything, and I've got my tool back. And so what we're gonna do is do a little bit counterclockwise here. And you'll see how that comes up. We're gonna put our little Allen wrench just like that, and it's gonna hold. Perfect. Okay, as you can see, the pulley and the I was about to say the toy. The pulley and the tool are off. So now I'm gonna go take off the TCT. And it's two 10mm bolts. And things may shift when I loosen up the bolts, so I'm gonna keep my hand on it just so nothing breaks or falls or anything like that. Would you quit licking my ankle? Okay, I'm gonna give you that while it's still holding. Okay, now's the moment. Perfect, look at that, guys. And we've got a swinger. Let's move on. Like a cat. Okay, so as you can tell from the front, there are 3 cam chain guides here, and they're all in orange, which makes it easy. So we've got the first curved, the second one right here, and then the top. What I'm gonna take off right now is the top, and it's two 12mm bolts. You may wanna break them loose beforehand, depending on if, you know, the motor has been messed with, but I'm just gonna go ahead and break them. There we go. Oh, and they're nice and oily. And they're very long. Oh, that's drippy. Okay, I'm gonna leave that right in there. Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna hand that off to you. And bam. Now it's off. Ah. Now we're gonna take off the other guides. And so this guide over here, 3 10s, and this one over here, 6mm hex. Out and no, the chain does not come off with it. Beautiful. I'm going to put my hex on. Take off the 10 first. You know, it's been a long day when you're staring at it like, why won't this go on? Beautiful. Hand that to you. Take it. Okay. All the guides are off. Let's move on. Time to take off the chain. So I think I'm going to take this part off just so it doesn't get caught. So I'll hand that to you. But the easy way to do it is just kind of simply lift off the chain from the top. Yeah, that's super simple. Sweet. This is going good, guys. Time to take off the cam gears. This one right here and this one right here. This has a 17mm bolt on the end and this one's a 14. Before I zing those off, you're gonna wanna take a 23mm hex wrench and put it gently onto the cam to kind of hold it steady. You don't wanna bang up the cam if you're gonna reuse it, but even if you're not gonna reuse it, it's a good method of thumb, again, to be careful. Okay, so I've got that steady. Let's go ahead and zing this off. Perfect. So, sorry guys, horrible sound. Okay, so the bolt is off. I'm gonna go ahead, it should pull directly off like that. Beautiful, and it's got some oil, so I'm gonna give that to you. And now I'm gonna come around this corner. And first I'm going to switch out the socket. Okay, I'll come around this side. So again, let's go ahead and put on my hex wrench, just like, whoa, that is not liking it. Okay, so I had it, oh. Okay. Beautiful, so that, perfect. Pull it off, now we can move on. Like, oh, it's so slippery smooth, why isn't it staying? Okay, these here are valve adjusters, and they go all the way around. What we're gonna do now is loosen all the nuts. We're not gonna actually take them off, we're just gonna loosen them. So that way we can come back. Perfect. have another situation like we did with the hose a couple weeks ago. Oops. Yeah, that's right. He's being a goof. You just take a quick. This is what he does. You and Paul. So we are going to be at the Beyond City Limits show this Saturday. It got postponed because, you know, we were having like this wild flood, which, I mean, I shouldn't joke about it because many areas actually did flood. We were super lucky here where it only flooded in some plain areas. Our house has been fine. So, but I feel for you guys that do live in a flood-based area. It's scary. Okay, so all the nuts have been loosened. Let's move on. Okay, so not only do we loosen the nuts, we're also going to loosen the screw. So you're going to get a flat-bladed screwdriver, like this one by Weehaw. We're going to stick it in the middle here, and just keep going counterclockwise until you feel it stops. And that is, again, releasing more of the tension. So I'm going to do them all the way around here. And by the way, guys, I am now one of the ambassadors for Weehaw Tools, which thank you, Weehaw Tools, for bestowing that honor on me, which it is an honor, guys. I love, love, love their tool company. But what I was getting at was now you can reap in the benefits with me, because when you go to the Weehaw Tool website, any tool you like, 10% off using the code Rachel_Thoreau. That's RACHEL _TH, T as in tree, HUROW. So happy shopping, you guys. And again, I'm just, I found out right before Christmas and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the best gift ever, becoming an ambassador. They were one of the first people to keep an eye on me when I first started my channel a few years ago, and they sent me some tools, and I've always been a fan of them for their generosity, for their they support women in, you know, these kind of man-based jobs. I hate to call it that, but, you know, it's still kind of like a male-dominated community. And so as far as mechanics and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so for them just to be like, hey, we're keeping our eye on you, it's just a super great feeling. Going back to that car show, so it's basically a Cars and Coffee, Beyond City Limits. I think we're going to bring the FJ this time because it has the best heater. We are not bringing Polly. We don't want him to float away in case there's an extra deep puddle. But it does start, I believe, at 7 or 7:30. But you are going to want to get there a little bit early because it fills up quick. It's in San Francisco, Ocean Beach, which is literally, I don't know if you guys know where the Cliff House is or used to be, but it's that parking lot down below. So it should be a fun show, and usually have some good friends show up. My buddy usually shows up in his F40. So I think you guys will have a good time. And last time I was there, another good friend brought me a huge selection of Matchbox cars, which, thank you, I'm still so excited about. And I actually put some Matchbox, I bought like 2 holders off of Etsy during the holiday season, and so now they're proudly displayed in my house, and he says he has some more for me, so I'm like, you don't have to do it, but thank you. I will never say no to Matchbox cars. Okay, so this is down to the last 2. So I figure I like kind of telling you guys the news while I work here. Last one, completely blocking my face. Okay, oops. Come on, guy. It's always the last one where it like slips out. There we go. Beautiful. Thanks to me and my Weehaw screwdriver, we are good to go. We are safely loosened. Okay guys, that's a wrap on part 4 of the K24 swap. We'll be coming right back to you with part 5. Stay tuned.